Good day and welcome to my poetry corner. I am Arrey Ivo and I shall be treating my poem titled Kepler. And it reads thus: uplifted by a giant crow-like bird to land 6 million light years from my flood-consumed Earth. Kepler is the name of the heavenly body unfolding like a giant mimosa to sun scrutiny, 10 times bigger than chaos-gripped Earth, weeping in the floods and aggressive tempests of a climate change. Water mountains fresh for drinking, dark soils expectant of sowing, 3 suns and 6 moons waiting to be written in the lakes of poetry and yearning astrology, and to be submerged in the colors of the painter's brush, gardens hoping to spring. Yes, space waiting and yearning for exploration and new users. Created 2 billion light years ago, Kepler is home to the giant beings whose fecal matter is honey, the flies that burst in jars, birds with human demeanors, and giant ant-like creatures driven beyond contemplation to the farthest reaches of engineering, alien to our human puppets. The engineers have built Cosmos 12, a machine that goes backward and forward in time. They have stopped the aging of local species and eradicated death. Hurry your thronging masses to the portal of navigation, hidden in the folds of the Okavango Delta. There you shall, like me, be lifted for a light flight to Kepler, discarding your fears forever from sporadic rainfall and disreputable droughts, yes, throwing into the bin forever the fears of and malice from death and the cancer of aging. Then I pleaded with Sakoma, the ruler of Kepler, and I am now a holder of the symbolic stone of citizenship. Gumbi, the crow-like bird, is on a new flight to Earth. Be there and be alert, and pray that I learn their craft as I stay in this amazing firmament. So that is the end of the poem, but now we shall be getting into the figures within the poem and how I crafted the poem and its relevance and also its literary powers. So, uplifted by giant crow-like bird is the first line of the poem. The use of giant is telling you the bird has the capacity to carry a human being. It has the size, and it's crow-like. We have the impression that it looks like a crow, and it's also black and white. So uplifted by a giant crow-like bird to land 6 million light years from my flood-consumed Earth. From the use of light, we have the impression it is a flight that we are going to be getting in terms of the flight of the speaker. We are learning that there was a flight to a land that is 6 million light years from the speaker's flood-consumed Earth, which means that the Earth that the speaker was picking up was submerged in a flood before this flight, and before the bird carried the speaker to this land, which is situated about 6 million light years from his Earth. So Kepler is the name of this heavenly body unfolding like a giant mimosa to sun scrutiny. So we start getting some figures that try to give us a better picture of Kepler. So it is a heavenly body. This helps to make us know we've gotten into space, and it's unfolding, it is spreading, it's huge, like a giant mimosa. You all know mimosa is a plant. You know of the mimosa prodigal, which when you touch it, it kind of like folds its leaves and strings. It means that even though this heavenly body is huge, it has an aspect of being elusive. It has a kind of shy nature in its beauty, and they say it is a giant mimosa which is unfolding to sun scrutiny. We seem to think the sun is kind of hard on this planet, and it therefore means that the sun is pregnant there as well. But then it is 10 times bigger than chaos-gripped Earth. I decided to ridicule the Earth in order to enhance the glory or the power or the majestic nature of Kepler by describing the Earth as chaos-gripped, and also to enhance the theme of the poem which we had at the beginning of the poem, with the words from my flood-consumed Earth. So the Earth is consumed with flood, my Earth is consumed with flood, and to enhance that kind of picture, there is another description of the Earth as chaos-gripped, weeping in the floods. It's another confirmation of the trust of the poetry. An aggressive tempest is another personification, and it all heightens that the Earth is being affected by the elements of a climate change monster, and we have some kind of degeneration of the Earth. It is overwhelmed, and it's in control. It's controlled by a climate change monster that is ravaging everywhere, with floods, with tempests, and so on. So we leave these descriptives back to where we are now, 6 million light years from the Earth, which is Kepler. Then we start having some praises: water mountains fresh for drinking, dark soils expectant of sowing, 3 suns and 6 moons waiting to be written in the lakes of poetry and yearning astrology. So the mountains there I describe as having water, and the water itself is described metaphorically as a mountain, which means they are huge and they are fresh for drinking. In a way, there is an attempt to attract humans to the basic things that are necessary for life, which is water. Dark soils expectant of sowing. Humans need to drink water, they need to eat. Therefore, all the things that they need, water and the rich soil to Plants for agriculture can be seen in Kepler. And we have 3 suns, not 1 sun, and 6 moons. Another attempt to turn the Earth into some form of Lilliputian in face of the majestic nature of Kepler. And then it says that these wonders in Kepler are waiting to be written in the leaves of poetry. Lines of poetry are described metaphorically as leaves, and yearning astrology, which means that nothing has been written of this place in astrology, and therefore astrologers should be yearning, or astrology itself as a subject is yearning to cover the wonders in Kepler. This was another personification, a human quality given to a drive or a science, or a sub-science, as astrology is sometimes referred to. It also says that Kepler is waiting to be submerged in the colors of the painter's brush. So artists are going to have so much to paint about. Their colors are supposedly idle where they are in chaos-gripped Earth. And if they come to Kepler, there is a possibility that they are going to be able to paint wonders from what the speaker is saying. Gardens hoping to spring. Yeah, we have the impression that the gardens are going to grow into spring or jump into full blossom with these words. Yes, space, waiting and yearning for exploration and new users. The continual use of yearning shows that the emotions within this poetry is constant, and it is a wish that the poet is trying to translate to his audience, that they can join the bandwagon in wishing that they were in Kepler, or in understanding the beauty of Kepler, which he has seen, and he is talking from experience. So created 2 billion light years ago, he is also trying to accept the fact that Kepler is hewn in age. The antique aspect of the planet also enhances its natural beauty as well as the intricate aspect of its being, and it probably is going to attract those who are seeking to understand the world better because of the age of this planet. Kepler is home to the giant beings whose fecal matter is honey. The exaggeration becomes even with a higher tempo here. The beings of this planet, instead of sending out the fecal matter, which we know, like our human beings, will attract flies and is not generally accepted in public, theirs flows with honey. The flies that burst, they burst in jazz. Buzz and jazz is also an alliteration, and it also is a kind of rhyme scheme that is reiterating the beauty and the mesmerism that you can find in Kepler. Birds with human demeanors. We know humans are the top creation on Earth, but in Kepler, their demeanor is likened to that of birds. Hence, we might have to probably do something more to be able to fit in the beauty, the mesmerism, and the superfluous nature of Kepler. Birds with human demeanors and giant ant-like creatures driven beyond contemplation to the farthest reaches of engineering, alien to our human puppets. So the way the creatures in Kepler are, scientists and engineers will be befuddled in terms of trying to understand them, and to confirm their level at which they will be before they are described as human puppets. And our engineering is now put onto the test when in the next line, that was the engineers have built Cosmos 12, a machine that goes backward and forward in time. So you can see that the beings of Kepler have mastered time. They go backward and forward in time, and it's something that we are still trying to do, and we are still trying to understand things like the dark matter and so on. So probably there all these things have been sorted out. So they have stopped the aging of local species. Everyone is young. The world is chaos grip because many people actually feel that when they get old, they become insecure, they lose social security, they are not treated well, and also they are the doorstep of death. But there in Kepler, all these things have been taken care of. There is no aging because the scientists there have worked against it, and they have also eradicated death. Actually, one of the biggest reasons why people fear death is the unknown. So there in Kepler, the unknown is known. There will be no death. So now, because of these things about Kepler, the poem changes into a kind of fast tempo with the words, "Hurry your thronging masses to the portal of navigation." I'm kind of like telling the people now, you have an opportunity to benefit from these things that have been said in the earlier aspects of this poetry. Hidden in the folds of the Okavango Delta, this portal of navigation that you need to hurry to is hidden in the folds of Okavango Delta, is hidden in the geography of the Okavango Delta, so you need to get there. There, it is said, you shall like me be lifted for a light flight to Kepler. The light here is suggestive of the speed of light, and it's also an onomatopoeia to say the flight is not going to be burdensome when you are uplifted with a giant crow-like bird to Kepler. In this flight, you'll be discarding your fears forever, from sporadic rainfall, indescribable droughts. Yes, throwing. Yes, the yes is also another affirmative action or gesture from the poet, that when you get into this flight, you'll be throwing away most of the things that affect the earth. They like the storms, the floods, and so on. You'll be throwing them away, like aging, like death, and so on. Throwing into the being forever. The being is a metaphor of like you're throwing away these kind of things. You become now a transcendent being that is incapable of being affected by the limitations of our world or the earth. The fears and the malice of death and the cancer of aging. The metaphors are huge. Then I pleaded with Sakuma, the ruler of Kepler. We now start having a kind of governance in Kepler. It is also an organized society. It has a ruler who has a name. He's called Sakuma, the ruler of Kepler. And I am now a holder of the symbolic citizenship of the place. And which means that when you get there, you need to be accepted by the people, which the poet has done. And now he's urging the people that this bird, Gumbi, that now has a name, is on a new flight to Earth. So be there and be alert and pray that I learn their craft and I stay as I stay in the amazing firmament. So we get now the urge getting even more strong that people should run to the portal of navigation, because the bird is about to come again onto the earth, and there they will follow the bird to Kepler. And while he is still the poet in Kepler, he is hoping that he learns the craft of the people so that he can bring information to the earth on what they did to be this superior. So the poem is an escapism, and it's a wish that people on earth become as lucrative as the human beings or the beings in Kepler. Thank you very much for tuning into my program. It has been Arrey Ivo.